I wish Ali Baba could tell us what he's now charging for taking on the stage. Ali Baba, I wish you could tell us exactly how much you're charging now. From 100 naira.
Now I charge 10% of what Dasuki took.
A round of applause again. What a lot of us fail to remember is that, I mean, countries that have actually turned their economies around, especially the entertainment sector, I mean, they started from pages like this. In the 1920s, to address the issue of distribution, a young man came up observing that across all the cinemas in America, nobody at all was attending to people during summer. So there were no cinemas playing. So what they did was they set up a big ice cube, had fan to blow on it. And then they took over the entire market and built cinemas all across the country. So what Ali Baba is talking to us today about is about innovation and internalizing the values of hard work in getting things done. There are gaps in the industry. If you can feel it, you'll be able to change it. And so to our next speaker, she will be talking about a holistic look at the Nigerian economy and its potential. Our next speaker needs little or no introduction. She is from Anambra State and is a chartered accountant. She was a co-founder of Transparency International, serving as one of the pioneer directors of the global anti-corruption body based in Berlin, Germany. She served as Federal Minister of Solid Minerals, Mines and Steel in June 2005, during which time she led a vibrant reform program that led to Nigeria's global recognition as a credible mining investment destination. She was also the chairperson of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NEITI, and led the first ever national implementation of the global standards and principles of transparency in the oil and gas and mining sector. She was later appointed as Federal Minister of Education during the second term presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo. She held this position until she took up appointment as the Vice President of the World Bank Africa Division from May 2007 to May 2012. In 2014, our next speaker's advocacy efforts led to her being the co-founder of the viral Bring Back Our Girls campaign on social media, which trended internationally. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers at home, please join me and welcome to the platform, Madam Obi Ezekwesili. A round of applause, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. What a privilege to be able to join in this discussion about our beloved country, Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that requires your constantly re-energizing your hope. Nigeria raises your hope, and Nigeria dashes your hope. But one thing that is certain is that because hope is inexhaustible, hope is Nigerian. I'm going to have three parts to my conversation with you today. The first part is simply going to look at economic philosophy that governs nations and our own nation. And then I would look at the short-run, immediate issues that the Nigerian economy ought to be dealing with. And I call that part of my talk the urgency of now, the urgency of how. And then I would finalize by looking at the medium to long-term issues that Nigeria must address in order to achieve the kind of economic development that has so far eluded this country. So please go with me on this journey. The first point I need you to take is that there is a raison d'etre for government. Governments don't exist simply because they must exist. Governments, properly so-called, exist because there is a purpose for their existence. Governments, whether they are of developing countries, emerging economies, or developed advanced economies, exist that they may constantly improve the standard of living of their people. And often the definition for us as Nigerians of what government exists to do is, according to the Constitution of Nigeria, that the primary purpose of government is to provide security of life and property, as well as improve the welfare of the Nigerian people. Governments are systems or functions that combine political, social, and economic actions in order to solve the problems of society. Because society is made up of people, people have problems, private and common. For the common problems that people have, they especially need that there be a system that has the authority, the mandate to solve that problem. The most important issue for every Nigerian as we awaken to what democracy expects of us is to ask, is the leitmotif for the Nigerian government, as you've known it since you were born, adequately served? Is there a sense in your mind that governments have well conducted themselves at every level to generate the primary objectives for their existence? That's important. Economic philosophy. On the basis of the fact that governments, especially in modern democracies, exist not primarily to fight and conquer other nations in war, but actually to advance the prosperity of their people, we find that there's been a battle of economic systems. Ultimately, there is almost a universal concurrence that the capitalist system of economic organization of actions, where the market principles, underpinned by an understanding through Adam Smith in his famous treatise, The Wealth of Nations, that the rational person is constantly seeking to advance their individual satisfaction to a place of maximum, to the extent that incentives drive the behavior of individuals. Therefore, they would frequently apply themselves at choices that enable them maximize the satisfaction possible through finite resources, finite time, finite information. What we have seen is that from the 19th, 20th to now, 21st century, the capitalist system has proven to be very enduring in producing global prosperity as well as national prosperity at levels that all other systems of economic